Hi you all, I wanted to come on here and share a little bit of a positive mentality trick that I like to use to kind of keep myself in a good, upbeat, centered, calm kind of headspace. So here's a little visual sort of mental trick that I like to think about. And it's utilizing, do you remember these little cheapo toys from childhood? They're just like little finger trap toys. And the concept is like you and your friend put your finger in this toy and try and get out, and you can't because you're stuck. And the harder that you struggle or fight against this with your friend or yourself, if you're doing it like this, the more impossible it is to get out, and you're just truly stuck. But of course, the moment that you and your friend push towards each other's fingers, you just come right out and it relaxes and it lets go. So this toy that I had in childhood always kind of stuck with me in the back of my mind, and it became the visual image that comes up for me whenever I'm kind of panicked, anxious, stressed, rushing, putting a lot of pressure on myself or on a situation. Whenever I'm having those kinds of thoughts, I just feel myself tensing up and like fighting against it, fighting against myself or whatever the situation is. And whenever that happens, I kind of remind myself, that's not how you get out of the finger trap, you know? You have to like slow down and breathe and maybe even like lean into the situation, and then it comes right out. So that's sort of my little mental image that I use. I want to give a few examples of this kind of thinking. So let's say it's Thanksgiving dinner and you sit down to the table and you see all this delicious looking food, and it's like, I want to eat all of this food right now. I never get to eat this food all year round. I need to have it. I need to eat the stuffing. I need to have this. I want to fill my plate. I want to get it before everybody else eats it. I want to eat it while it's still hot. I want to just go. I've been cooking all day. Like I'm in this stressed, hectic state of mind, right? So that's a lot of thoughts that are like this. That's not a good way to like enjoy Thanksgiving dinner. That's a good way to mindlessly like clear your plate and almost not even know what happened, and then feel sick and too full and like awful afterwards, and more of this kind of negative energy. On the other hand, if you were to like slowly fill your plate with what really sounds good, stop and breathe and like sit back in your chair, you know, set your fork down in between bites, enjoy the conversation, enjoy being with your family or your loved ones or whoever, enjoy what you're eating, but also pause enough to know when you're really, really full. All of those little actions are going to get you closer to this moment of effortlessly sliding out of the trap. Whereas all of those hectic moments of like, more, rush, are just going to get you more and more trapped. So that's an example with like maybe a mindset around food. Another example would be in a relationship. If you're tending to bicker and fight and everything the other person does is wrong and you disagree with it and they're hurting your feelings and they're not thinking about you and every little thing becomes a tense moment, that's a lot of this action. Whereas, and obviously every situation is different, but I'm just trying to give some examples here. If you were to approach the relationship with a more slowed down, calm mindset, if you were to take a breath, if you were maybe even to lean into your partner instead of tensing up against everything they do in a reaction way, if you were to be more of, we're in this together kind of mindset, you know, when you lean in is when the situation, the tension releases. Another example would be finances, money, and honestly anything with numbers. I feel like that triggers a lot of the tense kind of reaction. So if you're like this around money, like there's not enough money in the bank account, all the bills are coming out, everything is due right now, I don't know what I'm gonna do. The same thing with finances. When you slow down and you come at it from a more calm mindset that like no matter what, this is gonna work out, we're going to figure out a solution, being more calm about how you spend money, how you save money, being more intentional, things like that. Trying to come in, and not just in money, but in all of these examples, from a mindset of abundance instead of a mindset of lack. So when we focus on the lack of things, that's this like negative, panicked, you know, like frantically straining against the situation. Like there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough food, there's not enough whatever it might be, love, etc. That's going to create this kind of negative, tense energy. But when you come at it more from a situation or a mindset of abundance, like there is enough time, There will always be enough money. This will work out. Like, there is enough love. We just have to focus on the positive. Like, those kinds of thoughts release the tension, therefore releasing the trap. Another point on the money example, I'm gonna use this little tool for another metaphor. I heard an interview with Ted Danson, the actor, who said when it comes to money and finances, you have to think of it like a tube. So this is also a tube in addition to being a finger trap. And money flows into the tube and money flows out of the tube. Basically, you are the tube. So in everybody's life, money flows in, money flows out. And that's just the natural cycle of things. But when you start to panic about money and stress, you clench up your tube and you create a crimp in it, and that stops the flow. So money is no longer able to keep flowing in, and money is no longer to keep flowing out. So basically what he's saying is another version of the same analogy. Whenever you clench up, tense up, have that kind of panicked, tensing reaction, that's when you block the flow state or the release or whatever you want to call it. So you can look at it like you're clenching up the tube, not just with finances, but with the other examples as well. Maybe like if you're in your relationship and love flows in and out, like you love your partner and they give you love back. And when you apply that kind of tense pressure, like, do they love me as much as I love them? Are we both doing equal amounts in this relationship? Is this gonna work out? Where is this going long term? Like all of those panicky thoughts, which is totally natural to have, by the way. But those things clench up the tube, so to speak. Those things tense against the finger trap. So I just like to use this analogy to kind of remind myself when I feel myself tensing up. And there will be physical cues, like you might truly feel your jaw is tense. Sometimes I'll just be at my desk working and I realize I'm like clenching my jaw to the point of a headache. I'm like, why am I doing this? And then when I stop for a second, I realize I'm having this kind of mindset about something. Work, deadlines, emails. You might not even notice the mental chatter, but what's happening is your brain is doing this. So when you can notice those physical cues, like my jaw is tight, my shoulders are hunched, I haven't breathed, like I haven't taken a deep breath all day. When you do those things, you're switching your energy from the negative, tense emotion to that sigh of relief that releases the tension and gives you freedom in a literal sense or in a figurative sense or whatever that might be. And another thing I want to point out, everyone is naturally good at something. Like you are naturally balancing some part of your life well. You might not be giving yourself credit for that. Sometimes we can get into this tense mindset where it's like, nothing's going right. My relationship's messed up. My finances are messed up. I'm not doing well at my job. My boss hates me. My friends hate me. Like one negative thought tends to just kind of mushroom into all of these negative thoughts. And that negative, tense energy just builds and builds and builds. And that's how the finger trap gets you. But if you stop, slow down, take one of those deep breaths that we keep talking about, you'll probably get a little bit of clarity. Like, you know what? I actually am really good at handling my finances. Like I might be struggling at work and my boss might be mad at me or something, but at least when I get that paycheck, I use it right. Or maybe you're naturally good at balancing all of your friendships and spending time with different relationships so that they can grow. Or maybe you're good at keeping your house clean, or whatever little aspect of your life is. Like you might not feel like you have it together, but you do fold your laundry on Sundays, It's different for everybody. So try to stop feeling like, I'm doing nothing right. My life is not like those perfect influencers on Instagram, Instead, look at your life like, I'm doing something right. I'm gonna figure out what it is. Maybe you have to look hard for that thing. Maybe it immediately came to you the second I said it and you were like, you know what? I do walk my dogs 4 times a day or whatever it might be, okay? My assignment to you is to realize what's an area of your life where you do naturally not get stuck in the finger trap. And look at that area of your life, pat yourself on the back because you deserve it, and also think, what am I doing in that area that's working for me? And how can I apply that to other areas? So if you know me, you know I'm all about setting goals and action steps and checking things off your list and having that great feeling of satisfaction and achievement. But I also just wanted to kind of put this out there as a reminder that once you do set those goals, it's also your job not to clench up around them, not to pinch off the tube, not to get stuck in the finger trap, because you're never going to achieve your goals if you're using this kind of unproductive, tensed up energy, as opposed to using calm, purposeful, relaxed energy, which is what's going to get you out of the trap and also get you to achieve those goals and have that all fulfilling satisfaction of checking it off of your list. So if you have an area in your life, a goal you're working towards, a relationship you want to strengthen, finances you want to get under control, weight you want to lose, followers you want to gain, anything like that, that you notice that you're having this kind of tensed up negative energy, I hope this can just be a reminder to you to like slow down, be calm, be present, breathe into it, maybe even lean into the situation, and then boom, just slide free, just like that. So I actually ordered like a 12-pack of these little finger trap toys to leave around my house as little visual reminders, just not to get stuck in that tense energy. So if this is a helpful visual metaphor for you, like it is for me, maybe you want to do the same. You can put them like in places around your house or your work environment or wherever where you know you do have that clenched up response. And then whenever you see it, you'll be like, why the heck is there a 50-cent children's toy on my desk? And you'll remember, that's my visual cue not to go through my email like, ah, but instead to go through my email like, okay, boom, 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 done. So you could put it on your desk where you work if you get a lot of that kind of tensed up emotion at work. You can put it on your bathroom scale if you tend to weigh yourself and feel like, I'm not doing enough, I'm not eating right, I'm not exercising enough, I need to go, 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 I need to do better and get healthier, and let's just like, instead of being like, okay, I'm gonna plan one healthy meal today, I'm going to take a 10-minute walk on my lunch break, etc., to get you closer to those health goals. You could put one of these in your refrigerator if you open the fridge and you're like, I don't know what to eat, I don't know what's healthy, I just want to eat junk, I'm gonna just stand here and stuff my face. Instead, you might see this and be like, why is there a toy in my refrigerator? And you might think, okay, I'm gonna drink a glass of water, I'm gonna sit down at my table and eat a balanced meal, something like that. If you get really hectic and stressed out in traffic, no one can blame you, but you could leave one of these in your car, and that could be a reminder as you're driving not to yell at your fellow drivers or whatever it might be. Another thing I want to point out is the kind of emotions that tend to come up when we're in this tense fighting sort of mental phase is negativity, is feelings like you're not doing enough, like you aren't enough, like you can't do enough, like you're not doing as much as other people, like other people have it together and you don't, all of which are lies, by the way, but that is kind of the way society tends to make us feel through everybody's perfect social media feeds or perfect magazines or what have you. Whereas the positive, releasing out of the trap type of feelings are slowing down, being calm, being purposeful and intentional. Here's a really big one, gratitude. You're not gonna find gratitude in this negative, tensed up place. You're not gonna be like, and I'm so thankful for my job, and I'm so thankful for my friends, and I'm thankful for my dog. Like, they can't coexist. This level of tension and gratitude. As soon as you have gratitude, your shoulders loosen up a little bit. There's a little bit of joy in your heart. Gratitude is that moment where you step out of the trap and you can kind of see it from the outside. I'm not saying that your grief or your bad situation will totally disappear, but you're no longer trapped in it. You're separate from it and you're able to kind of deal with it and put it where it needs to go and handle it in that way. So the kind of positive emotions that are going to get you out of that trap are gratitude. Like I said, even if you can't find anything except for the breath in your lungs, like I always say, or honestly, if you have a roof over your head, if you have food in your belly, if you have a job, those are things so many people don't have, and that's a huge, huge blessing, even when it feels like a struggle. Also, just being positive, being happy, listening to upbeat music, self-care. If you can do anything for yourself, that's also like an instant get out of jail free card with the trap. Even if that's just like 5 minutes in the bathroom to brush your hair, put on some lipstick, maybe change into a shirt that you like or something like that. I know that sounds like superficial stuff, but sometimes taking the time to make yourself look better will make you feel better. Or if you can do like a bubble bath or a walk in nature or like go look at the ocean or anything like that, whatever self-care looks like for you, that will instantly release the trap for sure. Another thing I talk about actually in my ebook about planning and productivity that has a lot of tips for kind of how to manage our lives in this sort of stress that builds up. Another thing I talk about is the difference between something that's urgent versus something that's important. So our world around us is constantly bombarding us with urgent things. And those are the kinds of things, urgent, that tighten the finger trap, that demand our attention. You know, like your friend's Instagram stories are gonna go away after 24 hours. Like, you gotta watch them now. Like, that's urgent. Every time you open social media, it's designed to hit you with urgency. Like, do this now, click this link now, read this article, watch this video, see your friends' posts. It's all so urgent, it's so current. Like, you have to do it now, now, now. That is tightening the trap. Social media, for sure. So instead, when you look at what's actually important, so urgency is something that demands your attention now, and it seems like, oh, I should do this thing, I should drop everything. But when you really step back, it might not be what's important, it might just be urgent. What's actually important are the things that are gonna make a more long-term impact on your life. So instead of watching your friend's Instagram stories, is the example I use, like, what if you called your friend instead and had an actual conversation? Like, that is loosening the trap. Like, that is a positive interaction for both of you guys. It's gonna like fill you up and release some of that tension, instead of just like, I'm trying to watch all my Instagram friend stories and I'm multitasking because I'm also doing work right now, and it's like, instead of like, I'm stepping outside, picking up the phone, actually calling my friend, hearing how they're doing. So I know this is kind of just a silly little visual cue, but I do really hope it can help you guys. For me, that's the mental image that pops up when I find myself in a stressed out, tensed situation. And the more we can step free from those kinds of things, be free from the finger trap, life gets a little bit easier. And I just wish an easier, more joyful, less tense life for all of you. You absolutely deserve it. And I know we all have different hard times and different challenges and different traps that we find ourselves in. So I'm wishing you guys the absolute best. And I hope you'll pop back in on my channel to see what else we have going on. This was kind of just a little bit of a pause to give you this mental trick. And that's it for today. So say hi in the comments, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.